Traveling back to Omaha from visiting our granddaughter at Wayne State University, we found this large flock of snow geese in a flooded farm field. They were here some 30 miles inland from the Missouri River because their traditional spot along the river at the DeSoto National Wildlife Refuge was flooded by the worst flood seen here in over 100 years. The flood was so bad that the roadways in DeSoto were washed out. These snow geese winter along the western Gulf Coast and are on their way to their breeding grounds in the Canadian and Alaskan Arctic tundra. They follow the Central Flyway through Nebraska and rest and feed here on food found in corn and other farm fields. Closer to the Missouri River, we found this flock of migrating white-fronted geese in a flooded farm pond. On Monday, March 24th, we were in central Nebraska with our son and daughter-in-law to see this record migration of sandhill cranes. Birds roost on sandbars in the Platte River and can be seen by viewing platforms provided by Audubon and the Crane Trust Organization. 600,000 sandhills pass through this 80-mile corridor along the river to rest and eat so they can continue their journey to the Arctic tundra. It was interesting to watch the young male cranes practice their courtship dance steps. Along with the sandhill migration, there are some 500 whooping cranes follow this path. Fortunate to see this single whooper hanging out with some sandhills. We reported this sighting at the Crane Trust headquarters and were told there are 5 whooping cranes seen traveling with the sandhills. Then we drove 100 miles west to the Nebraska Sandhills to see the Prairie Chicken courtship display and dance. We arrived here 1.5 hours before sunrise and sat in the blind waiting for the birds to show. The male birds perform to claim territory, intimidate rivals, and attract the hens. Prairie chicken display includes short runs, rapid foot stomping, leaps into the air, inflation of the orange neck sacs, erection of neck feathers, and deep resonant booming. The stage used for this performance is called a leek. The leek we were on is at a Nebraska Natural Resources District property just south of North Platte. This NRD is in the process of restoring 16,000 acres back to the native rangeland of tallgrass prairie and offers the use of the blind as a conservation educational effort to introduce people to a first-hand natural experience. Once the sun was up high enough to burn off the frost, we realized that this was wide open country. The prairie chickens entertained us for another half hour, then it was all over. A special thank you to the Nebraska Department of Natural Resources and our daughter-in-law for arranging this special birding experience. 2 hours spent in this horse trailer blind was a real birder's treat.
You do? Yeah.